You must be well acquainted with the Black Mamba by now, but what about the White Mamba? I'm talking about Brian Scalabrine, the only NBA player to ever win Rookie of the Year back-to-back. Brian Scalabrine is one of the most underrated legends in NBA history, a player who can step on the court in any arena and get a standing ovation before he even touches the ball. Scalabrine didn't play a lot of minutes in his NBA career, but it's said that his teams always believed in good sportsmanship, and having him on the court for too long is simply unfair to the other team. Today I'm going to talk to you about one of the few times Scalabrine's team needed him and called his number. It was a crucial playoff game that went to overtime, and both teams were exhausted, with several players fouling out late in the game. Scalabrine was playing on the New Jersey Nets, matching up against the Detroit Pistons in an Eastern Conference Round 2 that would go to 7 games. The Detroit Pistons were swept by the Nets in the previous year's playoffs, and they wanted revenge. Detroit started the series up 2-0, but they knew the Nets would put up a fight. The Nets tied the series by winning Game 3 by 18 and Game 4 by 15 points. When they met up for Game 5, Scalabrine had played a total of 26 minutes and didn't even play all 4 games, but he was always ready to play if he was needed. The Nets went into halftime down by 1, and Scalabrine had played just 9 minutes in that half. In these 9 minutes, he hit 2 threes and a 19-footer to stay ahead of the Pistons, who made a late rally to end the half. For some reason though, the Nets didn't want to make the game easier for themselves, so they didn't play Scalabrine at all during the second half. The game would go down to the final seconds, with both teams missing almost all their shots and the Nets getting to the free throw line to take the lead. With just 3 seconds left, Kerry Kittles had the chance to put the Nets up 4. He ended up splitting the free throws, and Detroit had no timeouts remaining to advance the ball. But Chauncey Billups wasn't called Mr. Big Shot for nothing. Channeling his inner Scalabrine as best as he could, he brought the ball up and launched a Hail Mary three-pointer from 45 feet, banking it in to send the game to overtime. What Billups didn't realize though was that Scalabrine was waiting for overtime. He knew that his team would need him down the stretch, and they did. To the Pistons' dismay, Scalabrine entered the game in overtime and hit a 16-footer just to check his form. He hadn't played the entire second half and just came off the bench, but it didn't matter. He was always ready. The overtime would come down to making free throws again, and this time the Pistons took the lead at 99-98. Richard Jefferson tied it at 99 with a free throw. While Jason Kidd was burning time to get the last shot, he found himself trapped with the shot clock running out. He decided to lob it to Scalabrine, deep in the corner for one of his patented alley-oop three-pointers, but Scalabrine was shoved out of bounds while in midair by Chauncey Billups. It should have been a foul, and it could have been a flagrant due to the fact that he was also in the air. Instead, the referees looked the other way because they realized Scalabrine had that look on his face. You know which look I'm talking about. He wasn't going to lose this game. So the two teams went to double overtime. But this time, both teams would score back and forth. Kidd found Scalabrine again in the corner for what could have been another alley-oop 3. But Scalabrine never makes the same move twice, so he decided to embarrass Rasheed Wallace by putting it on the floor and spinning Wallace around. However, he had less than 2 seconds to get the shot off, and with the Detroit Pistons triple teaming him, he just couldn't get it off in time. Billups scored 6 points in the period and continued to hit his free throws, which pissed the White Mamba off, because he knew that the game would have been over in regulation if Billups just didn't imitate him. With this insane save, Scalabrine got the ball back to the Nets with just 38 seconds left, momentarily blessing the courtside fans with his pasty skin and exuberant red hair. Rasheed Wallace had to leave the game because he got his 6th foul on this possession, so Scalabrine's save was even better than people realized at the time.
Try to save it, and then Scalabrine makes a great save. What a play by Scalabrine, and the Nets have a new clock.
Jefferson split a pair again and tied the game at 111. Scalabrine found Kerry Kittles, who decided to take the shot himself instead of lobbing it back to Scalabrine in the corner. Nonetheless, he grabbed an offensive rebound with 0.1 seconds left, attempting to end the game at the buzzer. Kittles didn't leave enough time on the clock though, and so it was going to another overtime. But just as the Pistons started to feel relieved with the missed shot, they were losing their starting lineup, and Scalabrine was now warmed up. It was triple overtime, and he was waiting for his chance to put the game out of reach. As the Pistons and Nets exchanged misses to start the third overtime, everyone looked exhausted. The game, just like this video, had gone on for a little too long. Jefferson made his move, drew the double team, and realized Scalabrine was open again, and it was the same spot that he was in 1,000 times before. The Pistons had forgotten about him. Their hearts dropped and the whole arena froze for what felt like a tenth of a second. The defender rotated over, but it was too late. Scalabrine didn't even hit rim. But then again, he never does. This shot put the Nets up by 4 with just 40 seconds left, and with 4 of the 5 Pistons starters fouled out, it was all but over. I know some of the newer fans will post comments like, well, you didn't show any of Scalabrine's misses. I hope you know now that Scalabrine never misses. He finished this game with 17 points, shooting 6 for 7 from the field and 4 for 4 from 3, and finished with an offensive rating of 164 for the game. That means that if Scalabrine had gotten the ball 100 times, he would have generated 164 points. His true shooting percentage for this game was an unbelievable 107.9%, with an effective field goal percentage of 114.3%. Now the Nets would go on to lose the series in 7, and Scalabrine wound up on the Celtics 2 years later, but he knew he couldn't help the Nets any more than he did during this game. This game would go down as his greatest performance, just 2 quarters of playing time, but ultimately won the game almost single-handedly to give the Nets a 3-2 series lead. I hope you all appreciate Scalabrine a little more after seeing just how unstoppable he was, and if not, I might have to do another video on him in the future. If you won't subscribe for the quality content that I provide here, I hope you will subscribe for him, for he is the White Mamba.
Back and forth. And here comes, ladies and gentlemen, the man, the myth, the legend, the White Mamba.